I wanted to share just a little idea that I heard on the radio this morning, just briefly. I didn't hear the whole thing. I'd like maybe if I have time to listen to the podcast. It's a very nice radio show called Religion on the Line, and that's on WABC with excuse me, Rabbi Joe Potasnik. He's the executive vice president of the New York Board of Rabbis, which is the largest and oldest interdenominational rabbinical organization, I think, in the world. And also it's with what they call Deacon Kevin McCormick is also on the show. It's a nice show, and I didn't hear the whole thing, but he was talking about the divisions that we have nowadays in America with politics and things. And when excuse me, and he said, a lot of people have lost faith in the government. Might be a good thing. But he said also people lost faith in religion, which is a problem. And really, I didn't get the whole thing. It was kind of blurry. I didn't listen to the whole thing. So this is my message from it. What I got out of it is that the churches, the synagogues, the places of worship, they have to be that anchor for the people. Now that people have lost faith in what they have to render to Caesar, the government, they're not following the Constitution, all these things, we're losing that anchor. Let's go back to our original anchor, which is God. He mentioned the problem is sometimes the churches, the synagogues, get political. And I always strived in my rabbinical career from the pulpit. My own personal political views is different. The videos I make are not all preaching. They're not all religious. Sometimes I make political videos. That's me personally, not necessarily in the office of a rabbi. But from the pulpit, I always avoided politics. Avoid American politics, certainly avoid Israeli politics, and it was a positive thing. I remember when I was a Rav in Richmond, there was one fellow, his name Myron, a Jewish fellow. He would come to our synagogue, and he said he used to go to the conservative synagogue, and he said from the Bima on Yom Kippur, they were collecting for AIPAC, for a political American-Israeli Political Action Committee. And I said, in my synagogue you won't find that. Not on one side, not on the other. And he appreciated that. He said, this is why I come to this synagogue now, because this is an apolitical synagogue. We have enough to discuss in Torah, the weekly Parsha. There's enough to talk about without getting involved in politics. So one thing is the shuls and the churches and all, if they want to attract people now, and a lot of shuls and churches are suffering, or especially in these areas, very few people attend services regularly. It's not a particular religious area in New York in general, except for the very religious communities, religious Jews, religious Muslims. These we are. And there are religious Christians groups throughout New York who are very involved in their religion. So I heard this. Someone on the Glenn Beck show. They were upset about the evangelicals not standing. It was a young woman. She said they're not standing for their principles and they're supporting Trump. And she has a point. Maybe you want to keep quiet. Maybe you want to discuss these things in your own way, and have an open discussion. But not that anybody is supporting Hillary, but the question is between Trump or a third-party candidate. That's where the question would be. But even people who are supporting Hillary should be welcome in our synagogues and our churches and so forth, as long as they're not trying to sabotage, as long as they're trying not to be they're not trying to be a negative force. And for people who are fed up with all the nonsense and the politics, and who are looking for an anchor should consider looking at religion. Looking around, maybe searching around to find a synagogue, a church, a mosque, or whatever your tradition is, a temple, whatever, that might fit what you're looking for. And you might be surprised, really, that the places that you thought you would never step foot in, if you're Jewish and you're like, oh, I wouldn't go to Orthodox synagogue, they're crazy. Give it a try. Step in and see. You'll sit down at a Kiddush Shabbos. You're going to see the fellowship, the camaraderie. Not everybody there is so religious. Not everybody is so observant, but we welcome everybody. Maybe you're going to enjoy it. The same thing could be, looking for a church, looking for a mosque, whatever. Maybe try a place that you wouldn't usually go to and check it out. And you'll see, you might be pleasantly surprised. And looking for an anchor in these days when the things are so difficult and so out of control, this could be your answer. This could be what you're looking for. Maybe not every place is what you're looking for. So you shop around, you find the right place. And certainly, any Jewish people or people who are interested in Judaism in Sullivan County and the surrounding counties, welcome to our synagogue, Rabbi Fishbane Synagogue. You can see his videos on my channel. You'll enjoy very much. So, please, if you're in this area, come check us out sometime Shabbos morning. You'll be pleasantly surprised. You don't have to come right away 9:30 when we start. You want to come 10, 11, come for a sermon, come for a Kiddush. You'll be very surprised how much you enjoy it. I thank you very much, and please like, share, and subscribe. And wherever you live, especially if you're Jewish, try out an Orthodox synagogue. You'll be pleasantly surprised. It's not what you think it is if you've never been to one. That's for sure. They're going to be much more friendly. Because I know what it's like in the Reform, and they're very cold and they're very formal. The Orthodox synagogues, for the most part, it depends on the culture and depends where they come from. For the most part, are very welcoming, very warm, very relaxed atmosphere. You feel like you're at home, and you might be surprised. What you're looking. That this is what you're looking for, and also you might be out, especially in small communities. Go to Minyan sometimes. We always have, but it takes a lot of work. You don't know how much help you could be putting in. Maybe you're the 10th for the Minyan. Who knows? All right. God bless you, and thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and feel free to put comments below. God bless.